Have you ever attended one of those dinners where a husband, perhaps after one too many glasses of wine, makes inappropriate jokes, sometimes sexually driven and at the expense of his wife? You know, the kind of jokes that might make everyone around the table laugh while the wife visibly cringes? Yes, we've all been there. And quite frankly, we'd rather be anywhere but there. It's awkward, it's uncomfortable, and it's exactly what I want to talk about today. The sneaky culprit that is hurtful humor in marriage. Now, some of us are born comedians, and others, well, let's just say their sense of humor could use some work. Even so, some partners, when making a joke that bothers their partner, will often be quick to shrug off the hurtful statement as just a joke. But when the only person laughing is the one cracking the joke, it's probably less of a comedy and more of a tragedy. Trust me, I speak from experience. My spouse and I have regretfully been both the joker and the jokey. It's easy to fall into the trap of sarcasm and think we're adding spice to the conversation, but often the only thing we're adding is discomfort and resentment towards the one we love. Here's the deal. Marriage isn't a comedy club, and your spouse isn't your heckler. They're your partner, your co-pilot in this crazy journey we call life. So when a personal joke lands like a lead balloon in their presence, it's a signal to be mindful of their emotions and change our comedic strategy. And an apology wouldn't hurt either. Shoot, if you accidentally ran over your spouse's foot, you'd say sorry, right? So why not apologize for the verbal emotional bumps and bruises too? A wise marriage blogger once shared an invaluable perspective on this issue. She said, and I quote, "When your partner shares a personal sentiment or emotion, don't laugh at them. Don't dismiss their feelings. Doing so is like telling them their feelings are invalid or crazy. Instead, respect their feelings. Be serious when they're serious. You don't have to feel the same way, but at least respect and try to understand their position." Simple but profound advice, don't you think? Sometimes humor can simply miss the mark, and maybe your spouse just doesn't get your witty repartee. They might muster up the courage to ask you to not make such jokes in their presence. Your partner isn't asking you to fundamentally change who you are. They are simply requesting you to save that side of yourself for others in your life who appreciate it. But leave it out of their presence, or maybe the humor is a mask for passive aggression. That's a whole other beast to tackle, but here's a rule of thumb. Humor should be a shared joy, not a weapon. Think water balloons, not hand grenades. The book of Proverbs warns us that those who dismiss hurtful remarks as just jokes are like campers who carelessly leave a smoldering campfire during dry season. Sounds like a recipe for disaster, right? It is. Even sarcasm can be interpreted as hurtful humor by your spouse. The word literally means to use words in order to tear flesh like dogs. Brutal, isn't it? That's not something you'd want to do to the person you pledge to love and honor. The damage it causes is like death by 1,000 cuts. It erodes trust, respect, and intimacy, the very foundations of a strong marriage. An influencer married couple, in one of their enlightening articles, break down why sarcasm is so damaging. They use an acronym, SARCASM. It stands for stings, aggravates, retaliates, controls, alienates, shames, and manipulates. Sounds nasty, doesn't it? They urge us to avoid using sarcasm when in the presence of our partners. I couldn't agree more. Ultimately, we should all aim to embody the virtues of compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience, as suggested in Colossians 3:12-17 in our marriages. Because at the end of the day, we want our relationships to be filled with joy and laughter, but not at the expense of one another. A marriage environment should cultivate laughter because that is life's best medicine. Jokes should not be the cause of the illness. Here's to more humor that recognizes a partnership of mutual understanding, safety, and less hurt. Cheers to that.